Good morning, everyone. It's Joker, and today we are back with another slime video. And getting to it a bit late, but it's not super relevant information to third anniversary. But during the part one live stream from last week, 4 days ago, as of recording this video, they did have a Q&A session where they answered 9 questions in that they sourced from the JP players, not the global players. So we just get left out in the dark. But some of the questions are fairly relevant and do contain some halfway decent answers. At least maybe they'll answer some questions that the global players have as well that will go align with what the JP players are asking. So today I just figured we'd go through each one and discuss what the question was, what their answer was, and if whether or not I agree with that answer or not. So this is the starting screen. There's nothing here. And then we move on to the first question. And it is this, and obviously it's in Japanese. So I have gone and translated roughly all of it. So, question one. This is asking, there are characters like Dragon Form Veldora and Ifrit who are protection characters. Will there be any battle units of them? And the second part is also, Yamza and other characters are currently enemies, but will they get summonable versions? I mean, this is a valid question. Dragon Veldora is not an insignificant character, and there are a lot of enemies in this game that don't have like summonable units. We got Awakened Clayman, we got Tyr, we got Awakened Isis now, so they are dipping into that, and we're getting the Mirror Realm units, so that's also a thing. They've set the precedent that they can do it. It's just will they? And they've split their answer into like 3 different parts. So first, Veldora's dragon form is too large to fit on the allied side of the field, and it would be difficult to implement with the game's current build. Seems like a no, sorry. But the second part is, it might be possible if you only have one Veldora in your party, and there's only one other on the field, like if you're only fighting Big Dragon Veldora versus Big Dragon Veldora, and they left some dots there, leading into like, we're teasing something. I don't actually know if they're teasing anything, but it is what it is. And then the third part is about Yamza. We are considering implementing enemy characters like Ifrit and Yamza, and will announce them with more information when the time comes. So that's a pretty standard, yeah, we don't have anything to tell you yet kind of thing. So big characters like Veldora, maybe because of the whole dot thing right here. Not a super huge deal. Question number 2 is simple. How do you decide on a character's design? That's JP players really ask the important questions, huh? And this is their answer. For Shinsha, Isis, and Cleash, we, as in producers, discuss during meetings with the given image data. That's their first answer right here. Does that tell us anything? Absolutely not. Is this a super pertinent question? Not really. And then his second comment is kind of interesting. I remember saying that the latest form of Shinsha is like an elementary school child growing into a junior high student. This is the new evolution from Shinsha to Carnation Shinsha, and now to the Serpent Zinnia slime. Not that one. Where's her other form? They're both 104s, I think. I am blind. There she is. This one. So yeah, Serpent Zinnia Slime. So this apparently is her evolution from elementary schooler to junior high. I don't really have a comment on that. It's just a weird answer. Let's move on. Question number 3. Will there be a 56th floor to the Loop Loop / Tower of Isis event? And is it possible to add a sorting function between the complete and incomplete missions for each floor? This, I think, is very important because they haven't updated Tower of Isis in like a year and a half. A long time. It's kind of dead in the water. We've been stuck at 455 for ages. They haven't done anything new with it. We are now getting back to the original storyline, which the Tower of Isis is from Isis, so she's original storyline. Does that mean they're going to come back to it and revisit it? Well, Let's find out what their answer is, and it's a long answer, but additional levels are being planned. That's their first clip up here. The second part is with every new floor implementation or batch of floors, they want to add new interesting gameplay mechanics to keep it fresh, and that takes time to develop. So apparently it's taken them a year and a half to develop 5 new floors and some new mechanic around those floors. It used, teleportation circles was a thing. The darkness, like fog of war, was a thing. What else was there? The ones that hurt you, the ones that don't, or debuff you or buff you. Those were additional adds after Tower was initially brought out. Does it take a year and a half to do that? I don't know. I'm not a game dev, but please give me more permanent content to do. I would very much appreciate that. Oh, and then the third part, there are no plans to add mission filters at this time. So they didn't even think about it. But we will discuss this internally, which probably means don't hold your breath on that. As a longtime player, I've got all the missions done, but I could see a use for filtering out which ones are done and which ones are not, so it like lowers the list size down. Certainly could be useful for a number of players. Doesn't really look like they're thinking about it that much though. Okay, question 4. This person had a lot. The first part is just his like, thank you for making this game. I love playing it. The next part, these bullet points, are what's really important. They're asking, are there plans to give 5-star units an additional skill fusion, so like a second skill fusion? Are there plans to give 4-star units a skill fusion? And are there plans to give 5-star protection characters skill fusions, or give them a buff so they do like 30% damage against a certain element or something like that? Like what EX protectors do nowadays, where if you're part of a certain team, you get extra damage versus a certain element. These are all very valid questions. The first one, like the second skill fusions, they pretty much answer that they have already done these, and the JP person's example was like octagram characters have 2 different skill fusions. And their answer was, we are doing second skill fusions for a lot of 5-star characters for the 3rd anniversary, and are considering more in the future. Which means, yeah, like we've already done it, we've already set the precedent, we dropped, 16 of them in this specific live stream, like right here. All these skill fusions, all these old 5-stars, this is their second skill fusion for all these characters. So yeah, they're working on it. They're doing them right now. But these questions were sourced prior to the live stream, so the JP player didn't know that. The second part, considering 4-star skill fusions and skill fusions for protectors and giving them team buffs, we have considered it, but have not done anything with it yet. So 4-star character skill fusions, I would think, are geared more towards the free-to-play flashback bazaar characters. So let's see, where is that? Here. So the old characters like Isis, like Water Rimuru, like this Wind Geld, the characters that people use a lot in their teams that are converters and see a lot of action, that giving them skill fusions, making them a bit better, I would very much be on board for. These are super, super old, and I still use Water Rimuru, I still use Geld, I still use Supia or Aaron, or Isis, yeah, down here. Like, these are still very viable characters for teams that need them. So giving them skill fusions, like, yes, please. Please make them a little bit better, considering they're so very old now. And then, their third part of the answer, in addition to skill fusions, we are adding upgrade features to old 5-stars in the future. But this will make the number of target units higher, so we are unsure of adding even more upgrade options at this time. This is referring to the announcement that the old characters and EX characters are going to be able to get upgraded to EX version, this right here. So old 5-stars can now become EXs, they get higher stats, they get the EX alts, and then you can unbound them into the new rarity. And then the same thing with EX characters is that you just take them and you can unbound them as well. So with that being implemented in December, they're worried that trying to implement even more upgrade features for other characters would be too much for players, which I kind of do agree with. Like, if they weren't doing the whole old character upgrade in December, then I would feel like this would be a very valid point to make and to do for the old 4 stars. But if they're going to upgrade literally everybody in the friggin' game in December, yeah, that kind of makes sense. That's a lot of shit to do, and I'm sure it's going to be really expensive, really time consuming, and not something that you can just willy nilly do for funsy onesies to everybody all at once. Next question, very direct and to the point. The app crashes a lot. What are your plans to fix this? This is a valid point. The app does crash a lot, even on the PC beta app. For me, it crashes a lot. Phones, the older the phone, the worse it is, the more crashes you get. Some of the newer phones can't even run it because the game's not optimized for Android 14 or 15, so good fucking luck. Their answer is simply, yeah, we're working on it. We're investing in a cause, and we're doing things like reducing the load of certain events like Valor Cup, and we implemented some fixes that came with the 3rd anniversary. Like, they're trying their best and they're working on it, but obviously they can't fix everything all at once. So, easy question, easy answer, not much to it. All right, question number 6. Are there plans to implement characters from the manga / light novel / what they called original source who have not yet appeared in the anime? This is a very recurring question because as players, leave, they were not aware that they answered this question years ago. Obviously not a lot of people were playing a year ago, 2 years ago when they did this original Q&A and someone asked this. So we already know the answer to this question, and the answer is no. And there's a very simple answer, or a very simple reason for that. And that's because all of the summonable units in this game, their alts are voiced by their actual voice actors and actresses from the anime. So it wouldn't make a whole lot of sense or be very interesting to implement a character who does not even have a voice actor or actress yet. So I know there's still a literal butt ton of characters from the light novel and manga that they have not touched yet, but it's because they've not been animated yet. They don't have officially announced VAs, so how are we going to give them voices if they don't actually have voices in game? So that's what they're doing. If they don't have a voice actor, they don't go in game. There are a few units that do have voice actors that are not in the game yet, but they haven't really done a lot in the actual anime to warrant bringing in. And I'm not going to mention any names. I don't need any spoilers. If you know, you know. If you don't, then you don't. Please don't start slamming 10,000 characters' names into this comment section because, I'm anime only. I don't read the light novel or manga. I understand there's a lot of characters in there that people want to see. But as of right now, if they don't have a VA, they're not going in. That's just the simple way of doing it. Next question is a 3-parter. And the first part is, will there be a feature to name your teams in the save troop function? Very good question. The second question is, if you were to implement a character who is not yet in the game, who would you want? And the third question is, what is Onishi's favorite ramen flavor? Very pertinent question to the to the game. But their answer is broken up quite nicely in reference to what they're talking about. So if we go to the assigned troops and we hit save troop, I have all these different teams saved up, right? I've got the Visions of Koli's team, I've got the Overlord team, I've got the Commander team, but I can't actually name them. Like, this is just their EP and everything. You can have some labels in here, but it's not team specific, and I can't go and name this Commander or whatever, Jubilee 1 team. Like, you can have Jubilee, and it says Save Troop 1, but I can't name it like, I want the Lumi team, or I want this Valor Cup team with the Shizu Nuker or whatever. They want some way to actually put physical typed names into that, and their answer is, yeah, we didn't think that was an issue. We thought the current labeling function was enough to get by, and they'll think about it. So, good luck. I do wish that they would allow me to name this stuff as antagonist, or at least put the frickin' labels of the forces in there. Like, forces are labeling and filtering is already a thing in game. Why can't they do it here? I don't know. The second question is, who do you want to see implemented? It's the clerics of the seven luminaries from the dudes in white cloaks that Diablo murderized and everyone else murderized as an enemy, is what Onishi says. And then Onishi's favorite flavor of ramen is tonkatsu ramen. Excellent. Excellent question. The eighth question, second to last question, is when creating Valor Cup or Jubilee, like the different seasons and the different rotations, does the dev team have a best or optimal team already in mind? It's like, hey, we know that this team is going to do the maximum amount of everything. This is going to get max overkill and take the least amount of damage and everything. Do the devs have those kinds of teams in mind when they're building these events? And their answer is quite long, but to summarize, it's yeah, they do have a specific team in mind, but the other players, mostly JP players, they're much better at it than the devs are, and they take into account a whole number of other things like swapping characters in and out, which I thought is a common thing. They directly mention that in this answer though, so I guess the devs don't swap characters out. And they take into account traits and different charms. And sometimes, you know, the JP players especially, they really like to fish for that 2% chance to crit or 2% chance to natural synergy. And the devs don't do that. And so they state that while we do have an optimal team in mind, there are players who find better options, and it allows us to learn every single month. So yeah, there is a team, but there are better teams that other players find out anyways. That's the short answer of this entire giant answer. And the final question of the video is a very, very important question. One that I've been begging for ever since I started doing Q&As 3 years ago. And that is, 2 Predator battles a day is not enough. It's not enough for the current standard of living in this game. And this is talking about the twice a day Predator battle right here, where you take on these stages and you have a chance to get the rainbows and you mostly get the beginner and the gold sections. So are there plans to increase the daily limit or allow us to play each difficulty stage individually every day? So like 2 attempts for every single one of beginner, normal, and expert, which, you know, if they were to guarantee the rainbows on expert and the golds on this and the grays on beginner, then yeah, 100%, give me that. Give me that all day. But I agree. Even with the event Predator battle that goes on every single month. For this month, it's the Antagonist Despair Mirror of Awakening. We have the 3 Predator battles. These do not guarantee the rainbows or the skill fusion ones. It mostly gives you a lot of golds on the highest difficulty. But even 3 is not enough when they're dropping 4 or 5 characters every single month over and over and over and over again. Like, they've had the same 2 attempts per day and 3 attempts per day since launch. They've done 5 attempts for an event Predator battle one time during the original half anniversary, and they never did it again. And I don't know why. But their answer was, we have been increasing the number of skill enhancement materials players can get in-game through other means. Mostly they're referring to the potion aspect from Predator Battle, where you could get these potions sometimes and you could just straight up buy whatever material you need. Sometimes they give away extras from mission rewards and stuff. But we will consider we will reconsider the number of times Predator Battle can be played daily and the overall supply amount. Please, for the love of God, make it like 5 times a day for each of them. That's it. It's not going to break the game. The game wants you to have characters at skill level 10. Like, it's not like it's a power creep whale kind of thing. No, for maximum efficiency for any character, whether it be 3-star or free-to-play 5-star or free-to-play EX, everybody wants to be at skill level 10. They should not be gatekeeping these materials behind ridiculously low attempts per day. So, for the love of God, give us more. Give us more. But that is the all 9 questions that were asked during their Q&A session. There were some stupid questions, there were some good questions, and there were mostly some meh answers and some interesting answers. Let me know what you guys think of all these and, you know, your opinions on it. But that's it for me. Take it easy, and I'll see you all later.